Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. It is today, September 4th, 2024, and Mars moves into Cancer at 3:46 p.m. East Coast time. Not super excited about that. Now, Saturday, September 7th, Mercury is in Leo in the late degrees, squaring Uranus and Taurus. Sunday, the 8th, the Sun in Virgo goes opposite Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Monday the 9th, Mercury moves back into Virgo. Then on Wednesday the 11th, Mercury in Virgo sextiles Mars in Cancer. So it's a flux of energy. Let's talk about Mars in Cancer. First of all, I realized as I was writing this, I am going to my son Remy's therapy appointment with him this afternoon as soon as this happens. And this transit actually kind of lights up certain areas in my chart. My son, Remy, goes every week to an amazing therapist who we found and loved in May, but she only had Wednesday evenings, and that's my first day back at the salon every week. So he's fine. He likes going in there by himself, but every few weeks or every around 5 weeks, I go in just to do like a check-in together. And Remy's been a little bit explosive. And I was just thinking yesterday when I was like, oh shit, this transit is happening pretty much exactly as we go into this therapy office. And I'm like, I don't want to be hit with a bunch of different things. Remy is a very, very emotionally smart little kid, and he already knows what's happening, what goes on in life. And him and I even had he had a few words with me last night. And I'm like, if this is any indication of how that's going to go, I got to mentally prepare myself for today's therapy episode. I'm not kidding, but I'm half kidding. I'm not really worried about it. I think it's important in all aspects to get through certain energy and just kind of connect with, now that Mercury is moving direct and we're in Virgo season. There's a lot about getting to the point. There's a lot about seeing the truth, even if it is uncomfortable. And as parents, right, we're also learning and evolving, and it's also very complex for us. So sometimes we're going to see things or hear things from our children that are uncomfortable, but we need to see, hear, and feel it, because that's how we grow and evolve as parents. Baby boomers have taught us that ignoring the things that our kids are saying or they don't like or all those things ends up much, much worse and chaotic later in life than just being a parent who says, yeah, okay, well, let me acknowledge this thing that I guess you don't like and I didn't realize, and maybe I can change and maybe I can shift. So I guess I digress, but wish me luck. I'll let you know how it goes next week. So Mars in Cancer. Mars is debilitated in Cancer. It does not work at its best in Cancer. Why? Because we got the fiery, heated, very dry Mars, the god of war, in Cancer, the moon sign, the goddess sign. It does have lots of different emotions, but tries to just feel and loves to feel comfort, right? Mars likes to feel discomfort. Mars likes to break through that comfort. It wants to be very disruptive, where Cancer, the moon, wants to feel comfort. So this, in the moon sign, Mars there, the moon can be unpredictable. It can be moody. So again, what we have to pay attention to with this transit over the next month, the next few weeks, is that every 2.5 days, the moon changes into a new sign, and every 3 days, it moves into a new phase. So this Mars in Cancer, the themes around it, the disruptions around it that Mars will bring will be very different depending on where the moon is and what is happening with the moon. So my Cancer placements, just be ready to be a little bit extra all over the place. Now, the people who will be feeling this the most are going to be my Cancer placements, my Capricorn placements, my Aries placements, and my Scorpio placements. So, where the moon is, and then going opposite Capricorn, because Mars will be going opposite, and then my Mars-ruled people. You guys will be feeling this the loudest and the biggest, so it's anyone with those placements. Now, the general energy, and we can all take this on, is going to be feeling like this is I don't want to scare you. I'm like starting out with the harder transits, the harder themes of this transit. And again, some will be feeling this more than others, and those 4 placements will be feeling this the most. Feeling like you are in a hostile angry, off-putting home environment and needing an exit plan fast, or your home environment has all of a sudden become very uncomfortable, very disrupted, and you realize, okay, I need a more comforting home environment. How can I get out of this? Feeling moody because of past pain or resentments. As we know, Cancer placements actually do love to hold on to past resentments. They don't always talk about it. In fact, often they don't talk about it, but they hold on to it. And sometimes their moods are dependent on that. And we know that Mars likes to shake it up. It likes to bring up or activate the pain and the resentments. Easily irritated. There can be family feuds when Mars is in the sign of Cancer, family feuds. And again, like I said, I'm going to this family therapy session this evening. Also, my kid's father will be there, so wish us luck. This can bring confused masculinity. And it doesn't mean, it could show up as like, I'm confused. Do I want to be a man or a woman? However, that's not really what I meant. And that's not what I feel with this transit. More just like confused about what you like about masculine energy, what you don't like about masculine energy, maybe seeing some toxic masculinity, or maybe realizing some certain aspects of toxic masculinity aren't that toxic. To be honest with you, obviously there's some really obvious signs of toxic masculinity, but I think when all of that came out, we got a little extreme of things. Do you know what I mean? Within that toxic masculinity. So really diving into that, what makes you uncomfortable about that? What over masculinity, what makes you feel like, why do you have to present as that? Or what makes you feel uncomfortable if you don't present as that? Or maybe you are someone who feels very uncomfortable around masculine energy. Why is that? So kind of digging around that. That's what I mean by confused masculinity. I like to read one of my old books, and I was reading it last night about the traditional astrologers, the ancient astrologers from long ago. And when talking about Mars, Valens said, Mars rules the hard and the abrupt. Okay? So don't get mad at me when Mars happens and I got to tell you guys harder transits. It just happens. It's one of the planets that brings the hard transits. Just like they said hundreds and hundreds of years ago, Mars rules the hard and the abrupt. And let me tell you something, hundreds of years later, that has not changed. So again, don't shoot the messenger. Now, again, this is for my Cancer, Capricorn placements, my Aries placements, as well as my Scorpio placements. You can be moody. Urge, there's an urge to get stronger. This is a nice one for here. You guys might all of a sudden want to get some more physical strength. You want to get some of that maybe moody energy out of you through doing physical activity. That's a great way. Instead of, I know my Cancer placements like to sit around sometimes and just be sulking it. Instead of doing that, get the urge to go outside and say, I'm going to physically move this out of me. And naturally, you guys will want to, or again, maybe just see how you need to become stronger. Explosive with your feelings, more outburst, wanting to break free of something or someone, an identity, a home environment, the energy of a home environment, or maybe the person that maybe still has some sort of hold on you. You really feel the urge to break free. You want to break free. Maybe you don't know how, but you just do it anyway. Being rebellious a little bit more. Letting go or cutting attachments that are making you sick, making you not feel well. You see how holding on to them is just sort of sucking the life out of you. So you're going to let it go. You're going to cut it out. That's a great one. This is really great for like actually taking the initiative to cutting something out. Feeling like you can't trust your intuition, or maybe you just have more insight into how you lost your intuition, and having that insight will lead to more healing, which is very, very important. Someone judging or gaslighting your intuition. And again, you have to kind of fight back and be like, no, I believe in my intuition. I know my intuition. But they may have you second guessing it for a little bit. So you just have to fight back harder. Remember, Mars is the god of war. So fight back harder. This can make you extra sensitive, forced to stay, but getting uncomfortable. Maybe you feel forced to stay somewhere that you are not, and it is getting uncomfortable. So eventually when something gets uncomfortable, the energy shifts, the energy moves. Breaking out of your comfort zone, loving that. And Capricorns, this is a special message. Facing your feelings even though you've been avoiding them. You like to avoid them because you feel so deeply, but you have a harder time letting it outward. You have a harder time letting it out. So you actually have to face it and you have to let it out. And that will make you a little bit happier and freer. Now, Mercury in Leo squares Uranus and Taurus. This square already happened, and it actually, the exact happened on August 18th. So go back to August 18th, go back to that day. What did that day look like? What did that day feel like? What new self-awareness do you have about that day or has grown about something else since that day? Something felt, I know for instance that day, and for me, something felt very tiring, but in a stubborn way. Tired of dealing with this, that kind of tiring. Like, I'm so tired of dealing with this bullshit, talking about this. I'm just exhausted. I want it to be gone. So that sort of tired. And again, it's like a stubborn issue. Now, maybe you are seeing, hey, let me not react. Maybe I react too much to something. That's a big theme for this. Maybe I react too much to something. Maybe I go too hard about my stubborn ways. Taurus and Leo, you are receiving a message of closure again, or maybe a past message that doesn't hurt your ego anymore. It's been a lot for you guys over the last summer, since last year, since Leo season, Mercury retrograde. I told you guys you were receiving a message of closure, but again, even more so a message that doesn't hurt your ego anymore. Maybe at first, when you were like taking in that information, you were chewing on it, it hurt a little bit, right? The ego pain, the ego hurt it. So now you can sort of reevaluate, you can look at it, and it doesn't hurt anymore. You don't have that ego pain. Feeling more calm and ready rather than chaotic when having another conversation about life shifts. There's been a lot of life shifts for you guys. A lot of awareness shifts, so feeling more calm and ready rather than chaotic when having that conversation. So remember that. This transit is going to be big for my fixed signs, but especially my Taurus and Leo placements. The sun opposite moon, sun and Virgo opposite the, oh my God, why I put moon? I meant Saturn in Pisces. I was like, what? Why would I put that in there? Sun and Virgo opposite the Saturn Pisces. I kind of wish it was the sun opposite the moon, not Saturn. So these two transits, like I said, the sun opposite Saturn, as well as Mercury squared Uranus. These two transits are happening within 24 hours of each other. So it's definitely a blend of energies and themes within that. My mutable placements, my Virgo, my Pisces will be feeling this the most. We figured out and made, so with this new moon, right? Happy new moon, all my Virgo placements. A lot of Virgo birthdays too, I gotta say that. Maybe my Virgo rising and my Virgo moon. Actually, not maybe, I know that. But I know so many Virgo people, and I love you guys. And just, again, happy birthday season. And I hope you had a good new moon. With this new moon, we figured out and made happen, maybe not all of us made happen just yet, but that will come, most likely with this transit. But at least we got some more insight, some more awareness, figured out how to simplify our lives a little bit with this new moon. We said how, like I said on last week's episode, concise, simple thinking. This can feel or be the let go time of mental clutter, the life clutter, again, that you had seen with this new moon. Now you're finally ready to cut it out, to let it go. The stuff you realize you need to let go of is now making it out of your life. Low energy. Those couple days, though, will be low energy. Anytime you got the sun either conjunct with Saturn, especially in the sign of Pisces, which can kind of get very low energy, and you have the opposition, there's going to be low energy days. So I feel like Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday, definitely going to be low energy days, especially for my mutable placements. I got to tell you guys, last week, you can hear it's still my voice, but slowly getting better. I've been trying to quit weed, but my part of my mind loves it. And on Saturday night, I went out with some friends, and then I was like trying to quit, but like, I wanted it, right? I am very, very, very well. I've spent many years in my mind, in my addictions, so I know how it works, and I wanted it, and I only hit it for a little bit, and I actually threw the rest of it away that I bought because my throat went again, and I'm like, oh, God damn it, Colleen. Do you know what I mean? You know that this is not working for you. Some part of that addiction wants it, And since then, I've been like kind of really ready to let it go and get to the healing of my voice within that. So I kind of feel like this weekend's transits will be the final of like letting go of marijuana, at least for now. I have to do it. And for these worries, I'm in talks with my doctor. I'm going to get a scope, but I know that that's what it is. I've actually been praying for a long time to help me quit smoking weed, and I couldn't. So I know that my body, the universe, physically made something happen to me, okay, with my voice until I actually quit, because that was the level I was at with that. So, sidetrack, I like to keep you guys updated on those things. So I'm still working through all of that energy. And again, you can hear my voice, but I just talk. Anyway, Saturday evening, Sunday, Monday, low energy, low vibes, just rest and relax during this time. Go with the energy, not against the energy. Really feeling the need to mentally block something out. That can be a theme for this. Grounding your feelings, not letting yourself get carried away in a dream world, seeing the cold, sober truth or the reality of a situation with Saturn and in Pisces, and the sun in Virgo is a very cold, sobering truth, the reality of a situation, very Virgo-like. I know a lot of Virgos who live a life, and I've talked about this in the Virgo episode, of health, of wellness, and like doing the best they can. But oftentimes a lot of Virgo placements at one point or another in their life have struggled with addictions, but they love their body, mind to feel pretty pure and good. So they circle back. And a lot of Pisces get lost in addictions and often don't end up always getting themselves back on track. So when we have these transits going back and forth, again, it's sobering. Grounding your feelings, grounding your mind, not letting yourself get carried away in another world, in a dream world. Again, seeing the cold, sober truth or the reality of the situation, with which Virgos are so good at letting us see. Getting serious about something, though, kind of, through like you're confronted about it. You can no longer hide. That's the Virgo Saturn way. You are now confronting it. So my Pisces, you're no longer in denial. You're no longer hiding it. You no longer can hide it. You feel very limited in life. This can be very limited. Again, it's only for a few days, but you're seeing how you're limiting yourself or how life is just limiting outside of your circumstances. And if that is happening, if you're limiting yourself, well, you know what to do. Get your ass in order. Get your shit together. But if it's outside forces limiting your life, you got to make the best out of what is in front of you and try not to go too far ahead. Again, mental, sobering time, getting serious, no more denial of something, sad about a truth or an understanding, and you may have just become aware over this past new moon about this thing you need to get sober with. My sun in Virgo is like getting shit done. Saturn in Pisces is like I'm stuck. Right? So Saturn is stuck. Pisces are often stuck and like to be stuck. The sun progresses ahead. Virgo is always progressing ahead. So sun in Virgo. So I am stuck and I don't want to be stuck anymore. This is a time, this transit, for deep reflection. Again, think about this. What causes you to feel stuck? Get in your meditation mind, get into relaxing and asking yourself, what causes you to feel stuck? Think about something that you are stuck with. Think about it. What other feelings besides that come up with being stuck? What reasons are coming up when you think about being stuck? I follow this person on Instagram, this old guy who's always in like the pond with the lily pads giving this awesome advice with like a hey man type of thing. And he said, it's not exactly, but this is what he kind of said with the quote. And I thought it's perfect. Again, it's UNC.Pappy, Pappy, or maybe it's Pappy. No moment is unbearable. It's the worry of the next moment that causes the fear and the pain. Again, it's something along those lines, but that's what he said and what he meant. So again, what's holding you back, especially Pisces, you like to be in denial, right, is the fear of the next moment. It's not this moment now. It's the moment after. And I say this all the time, we have no idea how that next moment is going to play out. So we have to push through that fear. So you're not fear of today's moment. you have fear of tomorrow's moment. And that is what most likely is holding you back time and time again, is the fear of the next moment. This is a pivotal moment, though, for you moving through that fear and getting to the next level. Because when you move through fear, it's very momentarily like fearful. It actually moves fast. And when you get to the other side of it, it's freedom. And then you're like, oh, wait, I guess that wasn't so bad. Mercury moves back into Virgo. It's now direct, so it's moving forward back into Virgo. And a reminder, just a few weeks ago on July 25th, Mercury had entered Virgo. So again, there's another return to the energy of that day with a fresh new mindset. So go back to that day, see around that day, the next day, the day before that, what happened, what was some themes, what was some awareness, especially for my mutable placements. Is there a return to the energy of that day with a fresh new mindset, a realization? Still, we will be in that Saturn opposite Sun energy when Mercury moves back into Virgo. So again, what are you confronting? With Virgo energy, you may now have a totally different mindset than you did just a few different weeks ago. Awareness, Virgos are always shifting their mindset. Mercury is always shifting based on what's changing, what's happening in front of them, living moment to moment, day to day. So again, from just a month ago, 5 weeks ago, you may now have a totally different mindset. And what does that look like? Now, our minds, again, with Mercury and Virgo, will be back to thinking concise and simple. Our minds will be working with us, not against us. Quick, sharp, interested, problem solving. Wednesday, Mercury and Virgo sextiles Mars and Cancer, bringing in mental solutions to an emotional problem. Calming someone down or helping them see the truth, seeing them out of the chaos of their emotions and getting pretty direct to the point can be a theme. Discussing or having a heated talk, using concise words, not getting caught in your emotions, just being very matter of fact, making emotional sense of something, making mental sense of your emotions or really understanding your emotions. You see the overall theme here with Virgo season. Virgo energy knows how to fix things most often with a level-headed mindset. So this Virgo season, especially the Virgo season going opposition to Saturn, this is a season of making sense with our mind. And I just like to remind everyone, it takes Saturn about 28 to 30 years to go through a sign. So again, we have next year, there'll be some oppositions again. But it will only have been these last 3 years, like last year, this year, and then next year with Virgo season, the sun going opposite Saturn, and then it won't happen again for another 30 years. So these transits are kind of big, and they're going to be kind of big for these specific people. So it's going to be very specific and very big for Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius. And then in 2026, when, oh my God, that will be 20 years I graduated high school. Saturn moves into Aries, right? It's going to be very monumental for Aries and Libra placements, seeing the truth. So right now, this is sort of big, and we are seeing and we're growing and we're changing and we're shifting. Whew, look at me. Mercury's direct, and I am again on point. I am smooth. I'm like sailing. And it's so funny. Every time Mercury retrogrades and I start this episode, I think I've told you guys this on other episodes, I end up fucking up my intro, which is not even a hard intro, like 5 times. And then I get it. I just mix up all my words. But as soon as Mercury is direct, I am back to very concise, simple, direct, on point. And I love when I'm in the flow, in the communication flow. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I will be back next week with more transits. Try and survive Mars and Cancer. My biggest thing is do not react and do not jump to something, make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotions. So remember that with this Mars and Cancer. I love you guys. Have an amazing week, an amazing weekend. Goodbye.